EA just dropped their first look at Battlefield 2042's Season 6 update, and, well, it's a little misleading. The YouTube video titled Development Update Redux and Season 6 First Look is like half a second of the Season 6 map, and then mostly focuses on what's happening between Season 5 and Season 6, which is an event called Redux. First up, let's talk about the Season 6 map. We get to see like half a second of a dark interior corridor, could be some sort of like abandoned lab or something like that. And then we get to see a very, very brief outside look at like a spooky looking forest. The thing that stands out here is that it looks like it's at night. This could be Battlefield 2042's first proper night map. You could argue that Manifest is kind of nightish, but the lighting in that map is so bright that it doesn't really feel like a night map for the most part. This one here, at least from the extremely limited video that we've seen, does look much darker and like a real night map. The website description of the map says, expect a chillingly unique new battleground harboring dark secrets where you'll confront your fear of the unknown. It's one of our favorite maps we've built so far, and we can't wait to share more with you at a later time. So pretty vague stuff. Sounds like maybe a dark laboratory thing, maybe experimenting on genetically modified soldiers, who knows. Also, it is described as the new map in development, which leads me to believe that there won't be multiple new maps in Season 6, which I think many people, myself included, were theorizing could be a possibility since all the map reworks were done. Maybe that would free up enough resources to actually make 2 new maps for Season 6, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. Now, the majority of this video was focused on Redux, and I think DICE made a bit of a mistake here in their communication in that a lot of people assumed Redux was actually what the Season 6 content is going to be, and I don't think that is the case. Redux is starting on August 29th, and it's basically rehashing all of the old limited time game mode events from the previous seasons, but updated in new ways, and there's going to be skins and cosmetic unlocks to go along with it. A lot of people thought this was just the Season 6 content, but it appears that it's actually happening between Season 5 and Season 6 with just, I guess, the Season 6 info not yet announced. And just as a refresher, some of the modes coming back for Redux will be Rush, Chaos XL, Tactical Conquest, Breakthrough Chaos to Conquest Assault, and some of those events would be like the Liquidators, the Battle of Nordvik, and Leviathan Rising. But they do say that they're not just bringing these modes back as they were, they've listened to our feedback, so expect refined modes every week on more maps and with new player counts. Now, during Redux, there's going to be a bunch of awards and a progression system that you can go through. The rewards will include brand new skins for weapons and character cosmetic stuff, and some of the previous skins that maybe players haven't earned yet. Now, the event looks like it's also going to be 6 weeks long. They have a little calendar on the website that you can follow along with, starting off with the Liquidator Redux for 2 weeks, then the Battle of Nordvik for another 2 weeks, then Leviathan Rising for another 2 weeks. And because this is a 6-week-long event, it actually ends up being a pretty big buffer between Season 5 and Season 6. I think a lot of players were probably expecting to launch into Season 6 pretty immediately after Season 5, which has been the case with most of the other seasons. But now we have a 6-week buffer in which players are revisiting basically the timed events and modes that have been updated slightly from the previous seasons. At the very end of the website, they do mention that there's also going to be some quality of life updates with Redux, which includes changes such as balance adjustments for engineers and a new codex feature for those who would love to learn more about the lore of Battlefield 2042. Which is kind of comical at this point, trying to bolster the lore so far after the release date of the game. I mean, the whole game was built on this weird no-pat war premise, and there's like a secret satellite that might be a weapon, and that the no-pats are trying to like cover up data stuff to prevent optics from making certain countries look bad or what, like, it's all over the place, and each DLC seems to inject some random bit of lore into the game that seems very disjointed from the overall message and narrative of what's going on. Maybe this will improve things, but for the most part, I've never really enjoyed absorbing game lore from codexes or website information. I'd much rather feel it in the game. Now, from an announcement perspective, this is kind of a failure in the sense that I saw a lot of people thinking that this was an announcement for all the Season 6 content, where Redux seemed like it was what Season 6 was offering, and it just seemed like DICE was basically rehashing previous content with a new wrapper and calling it new. Perhaps Reddit posts and videos like this will correct that information, but I would imagine a lot of people are going to walk away from that trailer thinking that they're just getting a bunch of recycled content for Season 6, which is not great. In general, I think you could look at the optics of this two ways. One, in that you're getting a quote-unquote free event between Season 5 and Season 6, which has new cosmetic items attached to it, and maybe you get to replay some of your favorite event modes from the previous seasons before getting into Season 6. Another way to look at it is that DICE probably needed more time to get Season 6 ready and thought, well, what can we do to give ourselves some buffer time? Oh, throw in a few new cosmetics, redo some of the old events and update them a little bit with some of the feedback that we received during the events. And that'll give us 6 weeks or so to buy us some time between Season 6. I really don't know what DICE's actual intention was behind this. I can say personally, I'm not particularly excited to play those old events over again in sort of another limited time format, even if they are updated to a certain extent. Sure, it can be a little more exciting than playing the traditional Breakthrough and Conquest over and over again, but ultimately for a 6-week period in between seasons, it just seems like too long a period of time to stretch out some relatively bland content. If they use this event as a buffer and then delivered a lot more content for Season 6, like 2 or 3 maps or something like that, then I think players would be a bit more excited. But again, it appears that they're only delivering that one new map. Now, granted, that map does look new and interesting compared to the previous maps being delivered. For one, it's a night map, and for two, it's kind of got a spooky horror theme going on in the background, which is kind of cool. We'll have to see how they do the night maps. Night maps have been handled very differently in Battlefield games over the years. I personally like the ones that have decent visibility where it feels like night, but you're not like squinting and trying really hard to make out your targets. Battlefield 4 had like the true night map where you really needed like lights and night vision to see stuff. And then Battlefield 1 had some like trench warfare maps at night where there was a bright moon out and you could see stuff a bit better. That's my preferred approach to doing night maps in Battlefield games, so we'll have to see what they come up with for this. Now, in general, it's tough being a fan of Battlefield 2042 because every season you're hoping that maybe this will be the season that DICE steps up their content production. But again, it doesn't look like they're going to do that, with each season being generally mediocre to bland offering of content compared to what players are used to getting with the previous games. The details were incredibly light on content for actual Season 6 content, so it's possible there might be something more that they're going to announce, but it doesn't seem likely. What do you guys think about Season 6? Do you think we'll be getting a Season 7 after it, or do you think this is the last hurrah for Battlefield 2042? Let me know in the comments, and next up, check out this video about coming back to Battlefield after playing BattleBit for an extended period of time and what my thoughts are on that. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Levelcap signing off.